Tonight, deadly turbulence in the skies. The scary moments aboard a Singapore Airlines flight when it encountered severe turbulence, leaving one person dead and dozens injured. The investigation is now underway, and the condition of those other passengers. Plus,
they refused to admit their wrongs. You can't have hope in the justice system. Hope died a long time ago.
Christopher Dunn has spent 33 years in prison, serving life without parole for a murder in Missouri he has always claimed he did not commit. Now he may have his chance at freedom. It's a case we've been following for years now. We'll have fresh reaction from his family and what could come next. And there are trillions of these little insects around the world, and 2 teens are making it their mission to save them. Tonight, we introduce you to the high schoolers committed to saving nature's most vital pollinators, bees. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including the final day in court today for Donald Trump's hush money trial as both sides prepare to close the case next week, and the former president's new comments about birth control and the outrage his words are stirring. Plus, multiple states under tornado watch as severe weather continues, with more than 100 severe storms reported and millions of people under threat. And it's been building for more than a decade, but in the past few years, it's skyrocketed. What's leading to the rise in online shopping when we take a look by the numbers? But we do begin with that deadly turbulence on a Singapore Airlines Boeing 777 out of London, bound for Singapore. The airline says the plane hit turbulence at 37,000 feet, tossing passengers and crew some into the ceiling, many passengers screaming in pain. The flight was diverted to Bangkok, seen here coming in for a landing after that harrowing flight. Emergency medical crews raced to assist dozens of injured passengers, including Americans. Tonight, 6 passengers are in critical condition, and a 73-year-old British man lost his life, possibly suffering a fatal heart attack. How passengers describe what they saw and heard, and did the pilots have any warning at all? Our Gio Benitez leads us off.
Tonight, terror on the Singapore Airlines flight after the passenger jet was struck by severe turbulence 37,000 feet in the air, launching some passengers violently into the ceiling and leaving at least one man dead. The Boeing 777 traveling overnight from London to Singapore with 229 on board, including 4 American passengers. But nearly 10 hours into the flight, the aircraft suddenly hitting an air pocket over Myanmar.
The first thing that comes to mind is just the objects flying, not knowing what's going on. It's a feeling of lack of control, loss of control, helplessness.
Andrew Davies says he and other passengers tried to help the injured.
The worst thing I saw was the 2 people who had very severe lacerations on the top of their head. There was a lady screaming in pain.
Tonight, new images from inside the plane show oxygen masks dangling from the ceiling, a dented overhead bin, and blood spatters on the back of a seat. Afterward, the pilots diverting and making an emergency landing in Bangkok, Thailand. First responders racing to the scene and removing this passenger from the plane on a stretcher, as others receive medical treatment under tents on the tarmac.
As of now, most commercial airplanes have no way to detect this kind of clear air turbulence. We believe that the weather was fairly good. We believe that the airplane had its weather radar on. The seatbelt sign apparently only came on a few seconds prior to hitting this turbulence.
Tonight, at least 71 people taken to the hospital, 2 of them Americans, 6 in critical condition. The passenger who lost his life, 73-year-old British national Jeff Kitchen. A Singapore airport manager says they believe the passenger may have suffered a heart attack, but that has not been confirmed.
So unfortunate. Gio joins us now. And Gio, of course, the death of that passenger sends a warning to all of us who might be traveling sometime soon.
Yeah, Lindsay, this really is yet another reminder of keeping that seatbelt on, because even in clear weather, we could experience that turbulence. It could happen at just any moment. Meanwhile, tonight, Singapore Airlines says that it offers its deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. Lindsay.
Gio Benitez for us. Thanks so much, Gio. Now to the criminal trial of Donald Trump. Today, the defense rested its case without Donald Trump taking the witness stand. And all afternoon, the judge conferring with both sides about how he'll instruct the jury in this case. So when will the jury start its deliberations? We have a legal analysis from Arthur Idala in a moment. But first, Eric Katursky has the report from the courthouse tonight.
Donald Trump once seemed eager to testify in his own defense.
Yeah, I would testify, absolutely. Oh, sure, I'd very willingly take the stand.
But tonight, Trump's lawyers rested their case without ever calling the former president as a witness.
great case was put on.
With testimony now complete, jurors were sent home, and the final phase of the trial got underway. Judge Juan Merchan and lawyers on both sides hashing out how he will instruct the jurors about the law before they start deliberating. It's a complicated case. Trump is accused of falsifying business records to cover up a hush money deal with porn star Stormy Daniels to keep their alleged sexual tryst from voters in the days before the 2016 election. Judge Merchan saying, "We want to make it as easy as possible for the jury." Both sides argued over myriad issues. Prosecutors insisted the jury should be told they can convict Trump, even though he didn't personally doctor any business records himself, leaving it instead to accountants and bookkeepers. The defense pushed back on that. And Trump's lawyer, Emil Bovey, asked the judge to tell the jury hush money is not illegal. Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo fired back, though. What the defense is asking is for you to make their argument for them. When the conference wrapped up, Judge Merchan told the lawyers he'll take it all under consideration and provide them as jury instructions by Thursday to help them as they prepare to deliver their closing arguments.
Those all-important jury instructions. Aaron Katersky joins us now. So, Aaron, what comes next?
So now the jury is off for a week. They heard testimony from 22 witnesses. They saw more than 300 pieces of evidence. And in closing arguments next Tuesday, the defense will argue that none of it proves former President Trump committed a crime, while prosecutors will say it all adds up to what they've called election fraud, pure and simple. But by this time next Wednesday, Lindsay, the case should be in the hands of the jury. Lindsay?
Aaron Katersky for us. Thanks so much, Aaron. And joining us once again to break down the day in court is criminal defense attorney, Mr. Arthur Aidala. Great to have you back with us.
Thank you. The pleasure's all mine. It's exciting. You know, this is like, you know, when you do what I do, which is that it's like, okay, you know, this is it.
And nerve-wracking, I'd imagine, too, right? This is when it really, the nerves start.
I mean, I'll sound a little arrogant.
Oh, you don't get nervous. You're already convinced at this point, right?
I wish I was summing up. If I got a call today and they said, okay, Arthur, you need to give the closing arguments on Tuesday, I would cancel the family barbecue this weekend. I would lock myself in the office with the transcripts, and I'd be just ready to go. And
what would it sound like?
Ladies and gentlemen, you got so lucky in this case. You are a jury who, unlike other juries, you got to meet someone who is the personification of reasonable doubt. You got to watch him walk into the courtroom. You got to watch him take the stand. You got to pretend he was going to take the oath and tell the truth.
Michael Cohen.
And that, Mr. Reasonable Doubt, is Michael Cohen. Actually, folks, if you go home tonight and you look in the dictionary under Reasonable Doubt, you'll see Michael Cohen's picture. And I would say it just like that. And of course, you know I'm joking.
Yes.
But, folks, these 17 prosecutors here from the Manhattan DA's office who've been here, who have worked tirelessly, the only way you can convict my client of what they're saying he did is you have to believe Michael Cohen beyond a reasonable doubt. And what I want you to think about is if there was something that was important to you in your life, your kid's college tuition, your mortgage fund, something that really mattered to you, would you trust Michael Cohen? And if you hesitate for a moment, folks, that means you have a reasonable doubt and you have to find my client not guilty. That's something like that.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby, Mr. Aidala. So today, both sides conferred with Judge Merchan, and they're talking about jury instructions. Give us a sense of what each side wants and ultimately how important jury instructions are.
So in the simplest form, the prosecutor wants a wide berth. You know, Judge, we want you to charge conspiracy, meaning Trump worked with Michael Cohen and even Pecker from the National Enquirer, and they were all working together. So therefore, they don't have to prove that Trump got his hands very, very dirty. We want aiding and abetting. So that's just another legal aspect to say that, you know, Trump doesn't actually have to write anything in the book. Trump doesn't actually have to do the acts, but he's working with others. The defense wants just the opposite, as narrow a path to a conviction as possible. The graphic you showed about the defense saying, Judge, we want you to tell the jury that hush money is not illegal. Definitely. I mean, someone has to say that because it's, look, we call it hush money because it sounds
But that's
pretty.
not a legal
It's a
term.
non-disclosure agreement. A non-disclosure agreement is totally illegal. There's nothing illegal about that. What was illegal was, what they're claiming was illegal is that instead of writing, this money was for a non-disclosure agreement for Stormy Daniels so that anyone who looked could see it, they put it down as legal fees or legal expenses. And the jury's just going to have to deal with that.
And just to recap, defense only called 2 witnesses, one of them attorney Robert Costello. He ends up getting into a back and forth with the judge. Judge clears out the court. Do you feel like him having the last word, did he ultimately squander that as far as the jury?
Look, obviously that did not go as well as it could have. I know Mr. Costello. He's got an excellent reputation in the legal community. I don't know what happened. You know, Professor Alan Dershowitz came out with an article today saying he was actually in the courtroom when it happened, and he thought the judge totally overreacted. But Costello has been saying to a lot of people, maybe including myself, for a long time, that Michael Cohen's lying. Michael Cohen's making this up. Michael Cohen's told me, meaning me, Costello, Trump didn't know about this. We just took care of this for him while he was running for president, and he's making all of this up. So, look, I don't think, if it comes down to a beauty pageant between Bob Costello, a former federal prosecutor, a criminal defense attorney who's in good standing, and Cohen, who's done jail time and committed crimes and admitted on the stand, Lindsay, that he stole $30,000 from his client, I know who's going to win that beauty pageant. And the last point is, the $30,000 that he stole, Trump didn't know about. And the prosecutor's whole narrative has been Trump watches every penny. Trump knows where every dollar goes. Trump was concerned about a $600 picture frame. Well, he couldn't have been that good at it if his lawyer stole $30,000 from under his nose. 5
seconds left. Last time you were here in the very beginning of the trial, you said you think that it's going to be a hung trial, a hung jury. You still think?
It's either going to be a hung jury or maybe they compromise and say, all right, we're going to just convict him on those 11 checks or 12 checks with his signature and find him not guilty of the rest, or they can't reach a verdict on the rest.
Arthur Aidala, always a pleasure to have you here.
It's exciting.
Thank you so much. We'll be staying tuned. Tonight, we have developing news from the Pentagon. Officials there have confirmed a report that Russia likely launched a counter space weapon last week designed to disable or destroy satellites, and it's orbiting very close to a U.S. government satellite. Let's get right to ABC's Martha Raddatz. Martha, what more are you learning about Russia's launch?
Well, Lindsay, this has been a significant concern for the Pentagon. It was last Thursday that Russia launched this satellite into low Earth orbit, a satellite that the Pentagon does believe is capable of attacking other satellites in low Earth orbit. This video from Russia's military appearing to show that launch. While there's no indication that Russia plans on attacking other satellites, and it's not the first time Russia has done this, when asked if the Russian counter space weapon posed a threat to U.S. satellites, a Pentagon spokesman says it's a counter space weapon in the same orbit as a U.S. government satellite. The deputy U.S. ambassador to the UN is calling this launch troubling. Lindsay?
All right, Martha Raddatz for us. Thanks so much, Martha. And we head west now for that tornado threat, with several already touching down in several states. The National Weather Service warning of a particularly dangerous situation. ABC's Victor Oquendo is in Des Moines for us tonight.
Tonight, that dangerous situation unfolding in the heartland. Multiple tornadoes touching down already. A massive outbreak of severe weather.
There it is, people.
Storm chasers tracking this destructive tornado, flinging debris as it crosses a road near Carbon, Iowa, west of Des Moines. That storm chaser racing to this obliterated home to check for survivors.
There's somebody here? Are you in shelter? All right, nobody's hurt?
Ahead of the storms, Omaha swamped this morning with more than half a foot of rain. This car struggling to make it upstream. First responders using rope to rescue this man. Multiple vehicles stranded. This tornado south of Minneapolis, one of 3 reported overnight. And outside Denver, rain and hail swamped cars and stripped siding from homes. And tonight, 5 full days after a powerful derecho decimated Houston and Harris County, Texas, transmission towers still litter the landscape. This school utterly destroyed. Power still out for thousands. The heat index for the next several days will stay around 100 degrees.
Really hot and active system. ABC's Victor Oquendo joins us now. Victor, what time is the tornado watch in place until?
Well, Lindsay, we have been hearing those tornado sirens across downtown Des Moines, where we are under a particularly dangerous situation, tornado watch, until 9 p.m. local time. That watch includes Iowa and parts of 7 other states. That threat, it continues and spreads tomorrow from Texas all the way to western New York. Lindsay?
Got to heed those warnings. Victor, our thanks to you. Stay safe. Now to the race for the White House, and tonight Donald Trump's new comments about birth control and the outrage that has followed. This comes as his campaign is also facing questions about a social media post that referenced Nazi Germany. Our chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce reports.
Donald Trump today suggesting he's open to restricting birth control if reelected, saying it's something he's looking at.
Do you support any restrictions on a person's right to contraception?
Well, we're looking at that, and I'm going to have a policy on that very shortly. And I think it's something that you'll find interesting. And it's another issue that's very interesting. But you will find it, I think, very smart. I think it's a smart decision. But we'll be releasing it very soon.
Trump this morning suggesting in an interview with a local Pittsburgh station that he'd support states making their own rules.
You may want to support some restrictions, like the morning after pill or something.
We are also, things really do have a lot to do with the states. And some states are going to have different policies than others.
Hours later, Trump trying to take it back, doing cleanup on social media, writing, "I have never and will never advocate imposing restrictions on birth control or other contraceptives." But he did not say that in the full interview, which was reviewed by ABC News. The Biden campaign tonight warning if Trump wins a second term, it's clear he wants to go even further by restricting access to birth control and emergency contraceptives. Trump tonight also under fire after this video was shared on his social media account.
What happens after Donald Trump wins?
The phrase unified Reich seen on screen, echoing Adolf Hitler's Third Reich and Nazi regime. The phrase appearing 3 times in hypothetical newspaper front pages celebrating a Trump victory, along with other anti-Semitic tropes. The Trump campaign adamant this was not a campaign video, that it was reposted by a staffer who clearly did not see the word while the president was in court. But that video that included 3 instances of the word Reich remained on Trump's page for more than 18 hours. The president sounding the alarm.
A unified Reich? That's Hitler's language. That's not America's.
His campaign noting it's not the first time Trump has used language that mirrors Hitler's.
This kind of rhetoric is unsurprising coming from the former president, and it is appalling. And we got to tell him who we are.
Mary Bruce joins us now from the White House. Mary, what else is the Trump campaign saying about those comments on abortion?
Well, Lindsay, tonight the Trump campaign tells us that the former president was actually referring to mifepristone, the abortion pill, but that's not what he was asked about in that interview. In fact, abortion medication didn't come up at all. Trump clearly asked about contraception, Lindsay.
All right, Mary Bruce from the White House. Thanks so much, Mary.
Thank you.
New information tonight about 5 separate Americans, each possibly facing at least 12 years in prison for bringing ammunition into Turks and Caicos. A bipartisan delegation of U.S. lawmakers is making an in-person appeal for their release. Here's our Matt Rivers.
Tonight, several members of Congress pleading for leniency for the 5 Americans facing 12 years behind bars in Turks and Caicos. Each charged with carrying ammunition to the Caribbean islands, each saying they forgot it was in their bag. A bipartisan delegation of lawmakers going to the territory, meeting with government officials, urging light sentences instead.
The Turks and Caicos government is targeting American citizens, putting them in front of their criminal justice system totally inappropriately.
The government saying it's just following the law. Hours ago, Tyler Wenrick, one of 5 Americans arrested since December, now facing jail time, told his sentence will be handed down within a week.
I have a lot of fear and anxiety as to what's going to happen.
The island's tough gun laws meant to target rising violence there, also catching people like Sharita Greer, who claims she had no idea 2 loose rounds were in her bag.
I'm being torn away from my kids, my grandkids, my family. I'm broken, but I'm not broken into pieces, but I'm broken.
Matt Rivers joins us now. Matt, how are U.S. lawmakers asking that those 5 Americans be charged?
Yeah, Lindsay, there's no question that all 5 of these Americans broke the law, and in fact, all 5 have already pled guilty. But what these U.S. lawmakers are arguing is that they should be charged under Turks and Caicos customs law, which would result in deportations and fines rather than 12 years in prison. Lindsay?
Matt Rivers for us. Thanks so much, Matt. Mourners gathered in downtown Tehran honoring Iran's late president Ibrahim Raisi, who died in a helicopter crash. Iran has declared 5 days of mourning. Some global leaders refused to offer condolences due to Raisi's legacy, which included mass executions in 1988, shipping bomb-carrying drones to Russia to be used on Ukraine, and the death of Mahsa Amini. Amini was detained for wearing an allegedly loose headscarf and died in police custody. Some women today have been photographed not wearing mandatory headscarves near the funeral services. Tonight, we have an update to a story we first brought you on Prime in October of 2022 about a man serving a life sentence for a murder even a judge admits he did not commit. Christopher Dunn was convicted in 1991 for the murder of Rico Rogers. At the time, Dunn was charged with first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Later, the 12 and 14-year-olds who testified against him admitted they were not telling the truth and recanted. But Missouri law only allowed inmates convicted of murder who were on death row to have their convictions thrown out. We sat down with Dunn in prison in 2022. Are you concerned that you might die before being able to be vindicated?
To be honest with you, yeah. I fear that the truth of what happened to me may never be known.
It has been a long road to get to this point, but today a hearing that ultimately could determine if Dunn finally goes free got underway in St. Louis. It's expected to take several days. And joining us now from the courthouse is Christopher Dunn's wife, Kira. Kira, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just give us a sense of what it was like to be in the courtroom today.
It was an overall positive sense. We heard a lot of compelling testimony, and throughout it all, I was just aware of how thankful we are to be represented by such a great combination of teams with Circuit Attorney Gore and Judge Shaw and the Midwest Innocence Project.
I understand after the hearing you did get a few minutes to spend with Chris. What was that like? What did you all talk about?
Oh, it was wonderful. He was able to see family members he hadn't seen in decades, and there was a lot of joking going on, but also some tears. And we were just also quite thankful to have that opportunity to have a few brief moments with him.
And now, as you well know, a judge has heard Dunn's innocence case before, and as we mentioned, even declared in 2020 a jury would not likely find him guilty. He did not exonerate him, though. Do you think that this time is going to be different?
Right, as you said, Lindsay, Missouri is actually the only state in the United States where that would be the case, where innocence claims are based on your sentence, whether you're released or not. But it does feel different this time. It feels as though we just have so many great minds working with us now and advocates that our hope is much greater that the door won't be slammed in our face this time.
When do you expect to hear the judge's decision?
It could be as early as this week, or it could be a few weeks. We don't know how that'll go. It's entirely up to the judge.
Are you all even allowing yourselves to think about, imagine what life might be like if Chris gets out?
Well, we're tempering it. But yes, we're allowing ourselves some joy here and there. But we know from experience, as you've noted, that rug can be snatched out so quickly. So we're afraid to be too hopeful or too happy yet.
And Kira, just a personal note, I know that I met with Chris's mom, and she had some health issues, and she just said she hoped she could live to see her son freed. How's his mom doing?
She's doing well. She's hanging in there, being very strong. She's a strong woman. And yes, was able to sit through court today, and I expect we'll attend all week. She's very hopeful too.
Well, Kira, we thank you so much for your time and for joining us tonight, and certainly know that we are thinking of you and Chris tonight.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you so much.
The famed home of Elvis Presley, Graceland, is targeted for foreclosure. Tonight, Elvis's granddaughter is trying to block the auction. ABC's Steve Osunsami has the latest.
For worldwide fans of Elvis Presley who still think of Graceland as sacred ground, the developments tonight are stunning. That the Memphis mansion is up on the auction block to pay off what creditors say is a family debt. But tonight, Elvis's granddaughter, who inherited the mansion from her mother, is fighting this, accusing those same creditors of trying to pull off what she says is a fraudulent sale. The people trying to take the property claim that before she died last year, Lisa Marie Presley took out a loan for $3.8 million and used Graceland as collateral. But Riley Keough, Presley's daughter, Elvis's granddaughter, and the current owner, says in a counter lawsuit that her mother did not borrow anything. She also says that the documents are forgeries, and she shares a sworn statement from the notary whose signature appears on loan documents, saying that I have never met Lisa Marie Presley, nor have I ever notarized a document signed by Lisa Marie Presley. We were at Graceland when the family was helping to promote the Oscar-nominated movie Elvis with leading actor Austin Butler.
At this moment, we are in Graceland. We are in the Jungle Room. I'm here with Austin Butler, the incredible Austin Butler.
It's a major tourist attraction that pulls in millions of dollars each year for the Presley heirs. ABC News has tried reaching out to the investment and lending firm behind all of this, and we're finding that the phone numbers have been disconnected and that the emails are bouncing back. There is a court hearing tomorrow where the family is asking the court to kill this auction. Lindsay?
Steve, thank you. In Wyoming, a 35-year-old man was severely injured following a grizzly bear attack. Officials say the Grand Teton National Park rangers and rescue personnel responded to the scene following a report that the park's dispatch received. Law enforcement rangers and park biologists believe the incident was a surprise encounter. However, the investigation is still ongoing. Billions of cicadas are expected in Illinois this year, and some have already started to emerge. Residents have reported groups of the insects in their yards. One said that they saw hundreds crawling up a tree. An expert with the Illinois Cicada Watch told our ABC-owned station WLS that people should know cicadas are harmless and that as soil temperatures stay warm, more will pop up every day. And we still have much more to get to here on Prime tonight. They're more important to our survival than you might think. The activists fighting to preserve the future of bees. But next, it's been an unprecedented trial. A former president being tried on criminal charges. In tonight's Prime Focus, a look at the big moments that have played out in the courthouse.
You're watching America's #1 streaming news. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
I experienced a lot of rejection, a lot of heartache. I'm a tough woman, but it's not easy. I have my days where you gotta do whatever you can to crawl out of those dark holes. You're gonna feel lonely. There was a lot of personal stuff in my life that was really falling apart. It's taken me a really long time to even get to this moment. I feel like every pair of bell bottoms all come with a different story. 19 years old, pulling up to Nashville, I was terrified.
Not everybody makes it.
I was a fish out of water. At times, I was too country for country.
You were living in a trailer for a while.
I remember sitting out in this camper trailer, crying my eyes out, thinking, is it ever gonna happen? But Mom and Daddy didn't raise no quitter. I have had the hardest 2 months of my life. My daddy has not been doing well. We've been through a lot these past few years, and it kind of makes me emotional. Y'all gonna see me cry again. I was scrolling on TikTok. I noticed a few videos of my butt that had gone viral. At first, I was laughing, and I'm like, these people ain't right. No matter what size you are beautiful.
Being a woman in country music can be tough.
And the CMA Award for Album of the Year
for Female Vocalist of the Year.
Entertainer of the Year
goes to Lainey
Wilson.
That was a mic drop.
The Entertainer of the Year, baby.
Lainey's album, Bell Bottom Country, changed the game.
There ain't nothing better than this. Hold my beer, watch this.
What she is doing right now is changing country music.
I do see the bell bottoms and the hat as my superhero outfit.
Go, Lainey!
It's mind-blowing. It's magic. I'm proud of myself. I really am. I have worked my ass off. Now it's time to see what's next. That's what I'm talking about! Woo!
Let's go. The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Well, dead ahead. Tag on!
We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
Welcome back, everyone. In just a matter of days, a jury may or may not convict the former president of the United States with a number of felonies, all tied back to his alleged falsification of business records related to Stormy Daniels' affair claim. It's a remarkable moment for the country as Donald Trump, the leader of the Republican Party and presumptive presidential nominee, finds himself in court. In tonight's Prime Focus, the big moments that played out as Donald Trump became the first former president to be subject to a criminal trial. ABC's Olivia Rubin has the latest.
For 19 days, prosecutors in New York built their case against Donald Trump. Using 20 witnesses and over 250 pieces of evidence, they built the case for why the jury should convict the former president on 34 felonies. The alleged crime, falsifying his business records to hide repayments to his attorney, who had paid a porn star just weeks before the 2016 election. Prosecutors say it was to secretly silence her affair claim and help his campaign. Trump pleading not guilty, attacking the case daily outside the courtroom, denying he wrongly concealed those repayments.
There's no crime. We paid a legal expense. You know what it's marked down in the book says? A legal expense.
But inside the courtroom, some once close to Trump now at the center of the case, taking the witness stand under subpoena one by one to recount their efforts. It was kicked off by David Pecker, who laid out the underlying scheme. The former head of the National Enquirer and longtime friend of Trump said he used his tabloid connections to benefit Trump's campaign, pushing negative stories about Trump's opponents and warning them of negative stories they could buy before they became public. Pecker recounting a 2015 meeting at Trump Tower in his testimony, saying, "At that meeting, Donald Trump and Michael, they asked me what I can do and what my magazines could do to help the campaign. And I said I would also be the eyes and ears of the campaign." Pecker explaining that arrangement identified multiple stories, all of them purchased and hidden. Soon he heard of Stormy Daniels, the porn star selling her decade-old story about an alleged sexual encounter with Trump in 2006. The $130,000 payment to Daniels to keep quiet just before the election, and how Trump repaid his then-attorney Michael Cohen, who footed that bill, now at the heart of the case. Prosecutors claiming the release of the now infamous Access Hollywood tape just 3 weeks before the election played a significant role in Trump's alleged interest in the story.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Hope Hicks on the witness stand giving life to that theory. Once Trump's most loyal aide, she reemerged from private life for the first time in over a decade to recount those chaotic days in the 2016 campaign. This was a crisis, Hicks told the jury of the tape. Was Mr. Trump upset? The prosecutor asked. Yeah, he was, she responded. Jurors didn't hear the Access Hollywood tape, but they saw the transcript. Trump shaking his head as it was read to them. Hicks telling the jury she understood Trump wanted to protect his campaign when he later buried that story, bucking the defense's theory it was all for his family, saying, "I think Mr. Trump's opinion was that it was better to be dealing with it now and that it would have been bad to have that story come out before the campaign." She later broke down in tears. After Hicks came Stormy Daniels herself, recounting the night she said she spent with Donald Trump in graphic detail, stunning the courtroom. Trump denying the encounter ever happened.
I relish the day that I get to face him and speak my truth.
She told the jury about going to Trump's hotel room and finding him in, quote, silk or satin pajamas at first. Daniels says when she asked about his wife, Trump responding, not to worry about that and that they, quote, don't even sleep in the same room. Daniels acting out from the stand how she said she spanked the former president with a rolled-up newspaper. After using the bathroom, she said she emerged to find Trump on the bed wearing only boxer shorts and a T-shirt. She told the jury she blacked out despite not drinking or doing drugs and that, quote, the next thing I know, I was on the bed. I had my clothes and shoes off. I believe my bra, however, was still on. We were in the missionary position. Daniels and Trump coming face to face for the first time in over a decade in the courtroom, the two hardly ever looking at each other. Was he wearing a condom? Prosecutors asked. No, Daniels replied. Was that concerning to you? Yes, she said again. Prosecutors said that testimony demonstrated what Trump hid from voters in 2016. Trump's attorneys, though, said it was prejudicial and embarrassing. The judge saying it was problematic, but denying both of Trump's motions for a mistrial. But it was Michael Cohen who delivered some of the most key testimony, directly pinning the hush money payments to Trump himself as he testified for over 20 hours.
He directed me to make the payments. He directed me to become involved in these matters.
Once Trump's most loyal attorney, he told the jury over 4 days how he personally purchased Daniels' story at Trump's direction. Just pay it. There's no reason to keep this thing out there. Just do it, Cohen said Trump told him. The jurors seeing call records to back it up. Cohen then saying Trump personally approved the scheme to repay him through $35,000 monthly checks. Jurors seeing the invoices Cohen submitted, the checks Trump's personally signed from the White House, and the vouchers generated by the Trump Organization. All of it to repay Cohen the $130,000 and more. Those documents marked as, quote, legal expenses, but prosecutors say that hid their true meaning. Together, those 34 documents making up the 34 counts of falsifying business records. Trump's attorney Todd Blanche peppering Cohen with questions on cross-examination in an effort to shred his credibility, painting him as a man motivated by revenge. Blanche showing the jury Cohen's own words from his podcast.
I truly hope that this man ends up in prison. Revenge is the dish best served cold.
Cross-examination turning contentious, Blanche calling Cohen a liar, claiming he never spoke to Trump in October about the Daniels payment, but actually spoke to his bodyguard about prank callers. They showed new texts to try to prove it. That was a lie. You did not talk to President Trump that night, Blanche yelled. You can admit it. Cohen calmly holding his ground, responding, no, sir, I can't. Cohen later admitting he stole $30,000 from the Trump Organization as part of those reimbursements he requested. Yes, sir, he told when pressed by the defense. Trump himself putting up a brief defense, calling 2 witnesses but choosing not to take the stand himself, a public reversal.
You plan to testify in your trial in New York?
Yeah, I would testify, absolutely.
Trump-aligned attorney Bob Costello taking the stand for the defense, pushing back on Cohen's testimony that he pressured him not to cooperate on behalf of Donald Trump. He told the jury Michael Cohen said numerous times that President Trump knew nothing about those payments, that he did this on his own, and he said that numerous times.
Our thanks to Olivia Rubin. Still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, we introduce you to 2 young, busy bees fighting the good fight for the environment. But next, it's been building for a while, but the past few years, it's skyrocketed. What's leading to a rise in online shopping? And we take a look by the numbers.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions.
Operational nuclear reactor.
So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it.
How important is this label right here, Made in the USA? Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you.
Thank you, David. Good to meet you. Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast. Whenever news breaks,
We are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland. Let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere.
What's good to watch? Read? Where can I get a great deal on what I'm just dying to buy? Oh, it's all right here. GMA Life. All the exclusive and buzziest celebrity good stuff. Deals and steals with amazing savings and the coolest lifestyle tips from Good Morning America.
I love that so much.
GMA Life, streaming weekends on ABC News Live. Your weekend just got a little better with GMA Life.
This is a case that has been confounding for decades.
The clown pulls out a gun and fires at point-blank range.
Now, Friday night, the son who witnessed it all.
The last words I heard was, "Oh, how pretty," and bang.
A shocking murder that took decades to unravel is now a mystery.
Something breaks the case wide open.
Finally solved. The stunning 2020 true crime event, Friday at 9/8 Central on ABC. Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here. More Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
Traveling with the president in London, I'm Elizabeth Folsey. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. The pandemic changed so many parts and aspects of how we live, and all that remote work is actually helping to fuel our economy. Without the boss nearby, many are clicking buy now while working at home. Let's take a look at why by the numbers. $375 billion, that's how much more is being spent through online shopping than the same period from 2015 to 2019. That's according to new research from Stanford and Northwestern. What's driving it? The 500% increase in Americans that worked from home during the pandemic. Many have not fully returned to the office. Pre-pandemic, about 18% of all shopping was happening online. Now that number is roughly 26%. And a lot of that shopping is actually happening during the workday. Weekly online spending peaks from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Fridays, perhaps as productivity dips as we get closer to the weekend. More than 25% of women surveyed last year by online shopping giant Rakuten report shopping online during the workday. That number rises to 41% among Gen Z women. Retail consultants say retailers are also getting smart, even offering coupons for items that are left in online carts. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime tonight. It's a potential family bonding that comes with the chance to win $100,000. Jay Farrow explains the concept behind his new game show, The Quiz with Balls.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
This is a case that has been confounding for decades.
A clown pulls out a gun and fires at point-blank range.
Now, Friday night, the son who witnessed it all.
The last words I heard was, "Oh, how pretty," and bang.
A shocking murder that took decades to unravel is now a mystery.
Something breaks the case wide open.
Finally solved. The stunning 2020 true crime event, Friday at 9/8 Central on ABC.
We're trying to get answers for the community at large, even if maybe some of the community doesn't feel like they need those answers.
I have covered child homicides before, and now my daughter's autopsy will be made public one day.
Those who felt her will never know peace.
Did you just stand there and let my friend's child die?
If you want a relationship, a happy relationship, you need to
be in control of that relationship.
Andrew Tate is one of many male supremacy influencers.
You see him as this guy that has money, has girls. Basically, he's a god.
His compound, what prosecutors say he ran a sex trafficking business from.
We're not the first affluent, wealthy men who have been unfairly attacked.
You think he raped you?
They never meant for any of this to be public.
Someone has to say there's something wrong going around here.
Andrew Tate, Into the Manosphere, now streaming on Hulu.
Identical twins separated at birth. They first met on GMA.
All right, Gracie, come on out and meet your sister.
It's very overwhelming.
Now, as they graduate high school, see the joyous reunion live tomorrow on GMA.
From the team that brought you the DuPont Award-winning report, a groundbreaking new investigation spanning 9,000 miles. Trashed: The Secret Life of Plastic Exports. Stream free on Hulu.
They are at the center of our survival, even if they send a lot of us running when they're buzzing around. Sadly, bees are more and more under threat for a variety of reasons, from human activity to farming practices. Our M. Wynn caught up with two young women who are doing their best to provide a home for our sweet friends.
In the suburbs of San Ramon, California, a young beekeeper tending to her beehives in her backyard. 17-year-old Cherise Zoe instantly fell in love with nature's tiny workers. When she learned how factors like climate change and pesticides were killing them off at an alarming rate, she jumped into action.
It's disappointing for me, but it's also a very real-world issue that we do need to take on.
Cherise transformed her backyard into a science project, constructing a maze to train honeybees how to fly through. These patterns and colors representing those of wildflowers.
They would actually recognize which color was at the beginning and be able to differentiate the two at the arms.
Then you entered in pesticides, insecticides into the experiment.
Cherise's hypothesis: certain pesticides may reduce bees' cognitive abilities.
I realized how much it reflects into the real world, especially with foraging.
Cherise convinced her parents to help her acquire 150,000 honeybees.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Wow, looking down into it, there's so many bees.
I know, yeah.
Now that I'm closer,
yes,
you can definitely see the honey
You can see the honey in the cells, yeah.
When observing small groups of bees, she found the ones exposed to pesticides appeared not to remember how to get through the maze.
I wanted to see if my research could decrease the usage of pesticides in the real world. I think there's been a lot of movement towards that, so that's definitely great.
Her work now submitted to a scientific journal.
It's so heavy.
I know, yeah.
There's so much
really
honey
heavy.
on this.
They're our world's most crucial pollinators.
Bees alone pollinate 80% of all flowering plants, including more than 130 types of fruits and vegetables. But bee populations are rapidly declining, like the American bumblebee, where nearly 90% of them have been wiped out in the last 20 years.
Many of them are in danger. They're either endangered or maybe have gone extinct. People don't even know. They don't even know the census of them all.
Jim Veach, an avid beekeeper who specializes in genetics, says population declines can be due to several factors, though mainly habitat loss.
If bees poof disappear, then there's a huge economic hit to agriculture. We don't get nearly the variety we would like at the price we would like.
Billions of dollars would be affected if honeybees or bees in general weren't able to be pollinators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Agricultural Research Service found radical shifts in temperature, droughts, wildfires, and floods resulted in habitat destruction and foraging disruptions. While honeybee populations have been relatively steady in recent years, they still face major threats like varroa mites. In spring 2022, more than 40% of all honeybee colonies were afflicted with the parasite. That's where another young beekeeper comes in, 18-year-old Katie Colbert of Toms River, New Jersey.
You said they're pretty gentle?
Yes. If you were a honeybee, the scale of a mite on you would be like the size of a dinner plate.
After weeks of field studies, her now published work found that thymol-based essential oils extracted from thyme leaves through a mist diffuser could stun varroa mites.
This continuous release system had an efficacy of over 97%, which is really promising and exciting.
Katie was crowned New Jersey's Beekeeper Association's youngest honey queen, allowing her to travel and share her experiences with others. To further that goal, Katie created the Ocean County 4-H Busy Bees Club for young interested beekeepers and even asked her local Jakes Branch County Park to house her beehives for public access.
It's a great opportunity for the kids to learn and the school groups. We have a lot of school groups that come here.
As a 4-H pollinator habitat ambassador, Katie also secured a grant to establish a 2,500-foot garden near her bees to help them forage.
Being a part of a project like this and having Katie, who's a young lady, inspire others to do the same, I said it's hopeful that they will take these type of projects and get outside and explore.
Ooh,
That's a good
nice
one. That one's a nice one.
What really makes me proud is that she wants to encourage others to also do more.
With few young people having hive mind over beekeeping, Katie says knowing Charisse is out on the West Coast.
It makes me super excited that there's someone else out there who's like me.
So what can you do to help? Experts say you can avoid using pesticides and check with your local garden center about what plants are native to your area to put down around the house. Back at home, the girls' parents have had their fair share of pain.
For me, when I got stung on my side, it's pretty swelling. I can't even barely walk.
Oh, wow.
But this time when I got a sting on my face, I can suddenly remove my sting and apply the ice.
Still, the teens' parents say it's all worth it. What doesn't hurt? Having homegrown honey all year round.
Wow. Our thanks to M. Wynn for that. Jay Farrow was a Saturday Night Live cast member for 6 seasons and is now taking on a new role as host of Fox's game show premiering next week, The Quiz with Balls. Families on the high-stakes quiz show compete for the opportunity to win $100,000. Let's take a look.
Get this right. You were walking away with $100,000. Release the ball.
And joining us now is Mr. Jay Farrow himself. Hey, great to have you here.
Great to be here. How you doing?
I cannot complain.
Word.
And as your dad said, nobody would listen anyway.
You could complain, but they ain't gonna listen. There ain't no reason to. But hey, it's a good day. We alive, we breathing, and there's always somebody who didn't get a chance to do that today.
You are exactly right. You are also an actor, comedian, famous for your impersonations.
Absolutely.
How were you able to meld all those skills together and bring your talent to being a game show host?
Well, I think the greatest impression that I've done on the show is me, because I get a chance to kind of like be myself, but you know, sprinkled in in a smart way, the impression, so they're just not out of the blue, like we do them for a reason. But you know, I've been doing this. I've been in theater since I was 8.
Oh wow!
So you know, I'm used to getting in front of people and speaking. I'm not scared. So just taking those skills from the stage, and I hosted a show before on Nickelodeon called Unfiltered. You know, that was just the genesis to this. So I have the skills and I'm ready. So they're there. You know?
So how did this all work out? I imagine
the diction. Sorry, right.
We've got to overpronunciate. Exactly right. So I imagine that the producers came to you with kind of a rough outline of the show. Were you able to kind of add your own touch, your own fingerprints in there?
Well, the most of the show, I mean, was already there. I mean, it's Wipeout cross with it's Wipeout cross with Family Feud. So you know, only thing I had to do was go in there and, you know, add some jokes. Of course, I see the script, so I could add things that I felt would be funny, or you know, some fun things we can put in there, like splash cam I added, you know, and I'm glad that got added to the season, and just the banter back and forth. But it's so natural, you know, so. You just got to be able to improv and be able to be gregarious with folks. And if you are like that, you know, it would just naturally flow.
This comes for you. It's just authentic you.
You know?
But let's explain to people that if you get the answer wrong, then you get hit with a ball that's bigger than you, and then you get knocked into the water with your clothes on.
Yep, with your clothes on. Oh, boy.
And
That's
no
right.
money for you on top of all that.
No money for you if you lose, but there is a chance to win $100,000. And listen, as long as you have the trivia and as long as you have the answers, you gonna stay dry. But if you don't, you gonna get wet. I like to have fun at the end of the day, and that's one thing you have to have for being a host. You got to be willing to play ball. You know, you got to be willing to have fun with the audience.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. I ain't even. Hey, look, you know, a lot of ball talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta be willing to play ball. And listen, at the end of the day, it's all about the families, and you know, you're gonna fall in love with some of them. It's you know, the rounds get harder every time. We add $1,000 every round, you know. So even if you don't win the grand prize, you still walk. If you win, you walk away with some money, you know. And that money can change people's lives, whether it's 40,000, 30, 20, whatever it is, 60, 70. But you want that 100. So know your stuff. You know.
Last question for you. How would you say that, because we're used to game shows, right?
Yeah.
How would you say that this is different from anything we've seen before?
You have never seen Family Feud cross with Wipeout. So you're learning and you're actually having the fun of following the families. You're rooting for them and seeing them, and you don't want them to get knocked in, but if they do, it's fun. You know, it's just an all-out fun show, and I hope people learn things. I learned a lot. You know, I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's all about the trivia. It's all about family, and it's all about giving people the opportunity to better their lives with this money, and you know, and me making them laugh, you know, and making them forget about their problems, which is my job as a comedian anyway.
Jay Farrow, bettering lives.
Absolutely.
Coming to your living room very soon. The quiz with balls, no less.
The quiz
it premieres Tuesday.
With balls, yes.
May 28th. That's next week at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific on Fox. Jay Farrow, thank you so much for coming in.
Yes.
And that is our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, deadly turbulence on a plane headed to Singapore. The chaos after a sudden drop during the flight. The growing desperation in India as it deals with extreme weather conditions.
Let's go.
The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh. We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this town.
From Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike.
ABC News Live everywhere.
In Iceland, let's go.
On the 2024 campaign trail.
Here at 10 Downing Street.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live, streaming free everywhere. What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
An operation to capture ISIS fighters.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate now. Militants came in from 4 or 5 different directions.
Operational nuclear reactor.
So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag, there's not a tear in it.
Not a tear in it.
How important is this label right here, Made in the USA? Look at your smile. You're proud of this.
I love this.
Great work.
Hi.
Where are you? Where are you?
Appreciate you.
Thank you, David. Good to meet you.
Ismail? David.
David.
Yes, yes. I'm David Muir.
I know who you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas,
Edinburgh, Scotland.
reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, including the multiple states under tornado watch as severe weather continues, with more than 100 severe storms reported and millions of people under threat, some of those in Iowa already badly hit. Plus, the scary moments aboard a Singapore Airlines flight when it encountered severe turbulence, leaving one person dead and dozens injured. The investigation now underway. And how Iran is saying a final farewell to its president after his death earlier this week. But we do begin with what the National Weather Service tonight is calling a particularly dangerous situation, a very rare distinction when deadly long-track tornadoes are possible. Iowa and parts of Illinois, Minnesota, and Wisconsin in the watch area this evening as the threatening storms push east. Stunning close-up images came in just a short time ago of a violent tornado in Carbon, Iowa. Debris from damaged homes swirling as the tornado crosses the road. Millions of Americans are being warned to stay alert in the coming hours. Our Victor Kendo is in the storm zone, reporting in from Iowa tonight.
Tonight, that dangerous situation unfolding in the heartland. Multiple tornadoes touching down already. A massive outbreak of severe weather.
There it is, people.
Storm chasers tracking this destructive tornado, flinging debris as it crosses a road near Carbon, Iowa, west of Des Moines. That storm chaser racing to this obliterated home to check for survivors.
Are you in shelter? All right, nobody's hurt?
The town of Greenfield, west of Des Moines, taking a direct hit. Ahead of the storms, Omaha swamped this morning with more than half a foot of rain. This car struggling to make it upstream. First responders using rope to rescue this man. Multiple vehicles stranded. This tornado south of Minneapolis, one of 3 reported overnight. And outside Denver, rain and hail swamped cars and stripped siding from homes. And tonight, 5 full days after a powerful derecho decimated Houston and Harris County, Texas, transmission towers still litter the landscape. The heat index for the next several days will stay around 100 degrees.
Heat and an active system to boot. Our thanks to Victor for that. Now to that deadly turbulence on a Singapore Airlines Boeing 777 out of London bound for Singapore. The airline says the plane hit turbulence at 37,000 feet, tossing passengers and crew, some into the ceiling, many passengers screaming in pain. The flight was diverted to Bangkok, seen here coming in for a landing after the harrowing flight. Emergency medical crews raced to assist dozens of injured passengers, including Americans. Tonight, 6 passengers are in critical condition, and a 73-year-old British man lost his life, possibly suffering a fatal heart attack. Gio Benitez has the story.
Tonight, terror on the Singapore Airlines flight after the passenger jet was struck by severe turbulence 37,000 feet in the air, launching some passengers violently into the ceiling and leaving at least 1 man dead. The Boeing 777 traveling overnight from London to Singapore with 229 on board, including 4 American passengers. But nearly 10 hours into the flight, the aircraft suddenly hitting an air pocket over Myanmar.
The first thing comes to mind is just the objects flying, not knowing what's going on. It's a feeling of lack of control, loss of control, helplessness.
Andrew Davies says he and other passengers tried to help the injured.
The worst thing I saw was the 2 people who had very severe lacerations on the top of their head. There's a lady screaming in pain.
Tonight, new images from inside the plane show oxygen masks dangling from the ceiling, a dented overhead bin, and blood spatters on the back of a seat. Afterward, the pilots diverting and making an emergency landing in Bangkok, Thailand. First responders racing to the scene and removing this passenger from the plane on a stretcher, as others receive medical treatment under tents on the tarmac.
As of now, most commercial airplanes have no way to detect this kind of clear air turbulence. We believe that the weather was fairly good. We believe that the airplane had its weather radar on. The seatbelt sign apparently only came on a few seconds prior to hitting this turbulence.
Tonight, at least 71 people taken to the hospital, 2 of them Americans, 6 in critical condition. The passenger who lost his life, 73-year-old British national Jeff Kitchen. A Singapore airport manager says they believe the passenger may have suffered a heart attack, but that has not been confirmed.
So unfortunate. Gio joins us now. And Gio, of course, the death of that passenger sends a warning to all of us who might be traveling sometime soon.
Yeah, Lindsay, this really is yet another reminder of keeping that seatbelt on, because even in clear weather, we could experience that turbulence. It could happen at just any moment. Meanwhile, tonight, Singapore Airlines says that it offers its deepest condolences to the family of the deceased. Lindsay.
Gio Benitez for us. Thanks so much, Gio. Now to the criminal trial of Donald Trump. Today, the defense rested its case without Donald Trump taking the stand. And all afternoon, the judge conferred with both sides about how he'll instruct the jury in this case. So when will the jury start its deliberations? Aaron Katersky has the report tonight from the courthouse.
Donald Trump once seemed eager to testify in his own defense.
Yeah, I would testify, absolutely. Oh, sure, I'd very willingly take the stand.
But tonight, Trump's lawyers rested their case without ever calling the former president as a witness.
I feel very good. I think we have a great case was put on.
With testimony now complete, jurors were sent home, and the final phase of the trial got underway. Judge Juan Merchan and lawyers on both sides hashing out how he will instruct the jurors about the law before they start deliberating. It's a complicated case. Trump is accused of falsifying business records to cover up a hush money deal with porn star Stormy Daniels to keep their alleged sexual tryst from voters in the days before the 2016 election. Judge Merchan saying, we want to make it as easy as possible for the jury. Both sides argued over myriad issues. Prosecutors insisted the jury should be told they can convict Trump even though he didn't personally doctor any business records himself, leaving it instead to accountants and bookkeepers. The defense pushed back on that. And Trump's lawyer, Emil Bovey, asked the judge to tell the jury hush money is not illegal. Prosecutor Matthew Colangelo fired back, though. What the defense is asking is for you to make their argument for them. When the conference wrapped up, Judge Merchan told the lawyers he'll take it all under consideration and provide them as jury instructions by Thursday to help them as they prepare to deliver their closing arguments.
Our thanks to Aaron. Now to the race for the White House. And tonight, Donald Trump's new comments about birth control and the outrage that has followed. This comes as his campaign is also facing questions about a social media post that referenced Nazi Germany. Our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce, reports.
Donald Trump today suggesting he's open to restricting birth control if reelected, saying it's something he's looking at.
Do you support any restrictions on a person's right to contraception?
Well, we're looking at that, and I'm going to have a policy on that very shortly. And I think it's something that you'll find interesting. And it's another issue that's very interesting. But you will find it, I think, very smart. I think it's a smart decision. But we'll be releasing it very soon.
Trump this morning suggesting in an interview with a local Pittsburgh station that he'd support states making their own rules.
You may want to support some restrictions, like the morning after pill or something.
We are also, things really do have a lot to do with the states. And some states are going to have different policies than others.
Hours later, Trump trying to take it back, doing cleanup on social media, writing, I have never and will never advocate imposing restrictions on birth control or other contraceptives. But he did not say that in the full interview, which was reviewed by ABC News. The Biden campaign tonight warning if Trump wins a second term, it's clear he wants to go even further by restricting access to birth control and emergency contraceptives. Trump tonight also under fire after this video was shared on his social media account.
What happens after Donald Trump wins?
The phrase unified Reich seen on screen, echoing Adolf Hitler's Third Reich and Nazi regime. The phrase appearing 3 times in hypothetical newspaper front pages celebrating a Trump victory, along with other anti-Semitic tropes. The Trump campaign adamant this was not a campaign video, that it was reposted by a staffer who clearly did not see the word while the president was in court. But that video that included 3 instances of the word Reich remained on Trump's page for more than 18 hours. The president sounding the alarm.
A unified Reich? That's Hitler's language. That's not America's.
His campaign noting it's not the first time Trump has used language that mirrors Hitler's.
This kind of rhetoric is unsurprising coming from the former president, and it is appalling. And we got to tell him who we are.
Mary Bruce reporting for us. Today, Israeli officials seized a camera and broadcasting equipment belonging to the Associated Press, taking down a live shot of northern Gaza. iPhone footage recorded by an AP journalist shows an Israeli government official taking the gear and walking into a lift with the seized equipment. Israeli officials accuse the AP of violating a new media law by allowing Al Jazeera to access their live feed and transmit positions of their forces in Gaza. Israel's Ministry of Communications has since ordered the return of the equipment to the news organization. Al Jazeera is just one of AP's thousands of international clients. A U.S. official said the work of the permit must be respected. To Georgia now, where it's primary day and residents are closely watching the race for Fulton County District Attorney after the high-stakes drama the nation saw play out in court as the personal relationship between prosecutor Nathan Wade and District Attorney Fani Willis made headlines. Willis is overseeing the criminal trial against Donald Trump in the county's election interference case, but it looks as though that wasn't enough to deny her the nomination for district attorney, with Willis now projected to win her primary race tonight. Tonight, we have an update to a story we first brought you on Prime in October of 2022 about a man serving a life sentence for a murder even a judge admits he did not commit. Christopher Dunn was convicted in 1991 for the murder of Rico Rogers. At the time, Dunn was charged with first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Later, the 12 and 14-year-olds who testified against him admitted they were not telling the truth and recanted. But Missouri law only allowed inmates convicted of murder who are on death row to have their convictions thrown out. We sat down with Dunn in prison in 2022.
Are you concerned that you might die before being able to be vindicated?
To be honest with you, yeah. I fear that the truth of what happened to me may never be known.
It has been a long road to get to this point, but today a hearing that ultimately could determine if Dunn finally goes free got underway in St. Louis. It's expected to take several days. And joining us now from the courthouse is Christopher Dunn's wife, Kira. Kira, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Just give us a sense of what it was like to be in the courtroom today.
It was an overall positive sense. We heard a lot of compelling testimony, and throughout it all, I was just aware of how thankful we are to be represented by such a great combination of teams with Circuit Attorney Gore and Judge Shaw and the Midwest Innocence Project.
I understand after the hearing you did get a few minutes to spend with Chris. What was that like? What did you all talk about?
Oh, it was wonderful. He was able to see family members he hadn't seen in decades, and there was a lot of joking going on, but also some tears. And we were just also quite thankful to have that opportunity to have a few brief moments with him.
And now, as you well know, a judge has heard Dunn's innocence case before, and as we mentioned, even declared in 2020 a jury would not likely find him guilty. He did not exonerate him, though. Do you think that this time is going to be different?
Right. As you said, Lindsay, Missouri is actually the only state in the United States where that would be the case, where innocence claims are based on your sentence, whether you're released or not. But it does feel different this time. It feels as though we just have so many great minds working with us now and advocates that our hope is much greater that the door won't be slammed in our face this time.
When do you expect to hear the judge's decision?
It could be as early as this week, or it could be a few weeks. We don't know how that'll go. It's entirely up to the judge.
Are you all even allowing yourselves to think about, imagine what life might be like if Chris gets out?
Well, we're tempering it. But yes, we're allowing ourselves some joy here and there. But we know from experience, as you've noted, that that rug can be snatched out so quickly. So we're afraid to be too hopeful or too happy yet.
And Kira, just a personal note, I know that I met with Chris's mom, and she had some health issues, and she just said she hoped she could live to see her son freed. How's his mom doing?
She's doing well. She's hanging in there, being very strong. She's a strong woman, and yes, was able to sit through court today, and I expect will attend all week. She's very hopeful too.
Well, Kira, we thank you so much for your time and for joining us tonight, and certainly know that we are thinking of you and Chris tonight.
Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you so much.
And still much more to get to tonight. Coming up, it was a dream deal for movie lovers, but it was dealt a crushing blow. The founder of MoviePass joins us to talk about a new documentary. But next, how Iran is saying a final farewell to its president after his death earlier this week.
Whenever news breaks,
We are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In rolling forward, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines.
From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
If you want a relationship, a happy relationship, you need to be in control of that relationship.
Andrew Tate is one of many male supremacy influencers.
You see him as this guy that has money, has girls. Basically, he's a god.
His compound, what prosecutors say he ran a sex trafficking business from.
We're not the first affluent, wealthy men who have been unfairly attacked.
You think he raped you?
They never meant for any of this to be public.
Someone has to say there's something wrong going around here.
Andrew Tate, Into the Manosphere, now streaming on Hulu.
Hi, I'm Andy. And I'm Sabrina. And we're moms, juggling tons of stuff every day, like all you moms out there. And you know what we love? Really love? Pop culture. So listen now to our new podcast, Pop Culture Moms, wherever you get your podcasts. We're trying to get answers for the community at large.
I want my daughter back.
Did you just stand there and let my friend's child die?
Reporting from Seoul, South Korea, I'm Britt Clennett. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. We're tracking several headlines around the world. A funeral procession for Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was held in Iran after he was killed in a helicopter crash near the Azerbaijan border, along with his foreign minister and 7 others. Mourners were seen in the streets of the holy Shiite Muslim city of Qum, holding flowers and pictures of Raisi as a funeral vehicle carrying the bodies of the victims drove through the crowds. French President Emmanuel Macron arrived to New Caledonia, French territory in the South Pacific, just over a week after riots erupted and 6 people were killed. The protests were sparked by anger among indigenous Canuck people over constitutional reform approved in Paris that would change who is allowed to take part in elections. Local leaders fear that the change will dilute the Canuck vote. The past week's violence has been the worst there in 40 years. Residents in New Delhi clamored for water as temperatures in the Indian capital continued to scorch. A spell of extreme heat exceeding 110 degrees has dried up water reservoirs and spiked the need for water. Neighboring Pakistan is also dealing with scorching temperatures and dust and thunderstorms going into the weekend. It was once a movie lover's dream, a service allowing subscribers to see 1 movie in theaters per day for just $9.99 a month. MoviePass was an instant success, seemingly too good to be true, and turns out it was. The new documentary MoviePass Movie Crash recounts the meteoric rise and dramatic fall of the theater subscription service. Let's take a look.
The average ticket price was $11.50, and we were charging $10 a month. But people were going to 4 movies a month. We were losing a lot of money.
Joining us now is the film's director, Muta Muhammad, and founder of MoviePass, Stacey Spikes. Thank you both so much for joining us tonight. Stacey, I'd like to talk with you. Tell us about your involvement with MoviePass from the beginning and why you decided to share this now.
Yeah, so I had co-founded it with my partner, Hamay Watt, and we wanted to make the Netflix for movie theaters. And then
Before Netflix.
Yeah, exactly. Well, after Netflix. We were inspired by that model and wanted to build that for movie theaters that people could pay a flat rate and go to the movies all they wanted. And then a private equity group came in and bought it and dropped the price to $10, which wasn't sustainable. And the rest is history.
Muta, what drew you into this project?
I think it's a fascinating story. I think their idea, I love going to the movies, so any company that wants to make movie going easier is one that I support, but it's about 2 people, founders, who dedicated, I think, a strong portion of their whole lives to make a dream happen. And it's what happens when people follow the American dream, but they cross paths with others who might have some other ideas in mind about how to run their business.
What was your hope for MoviePass at its inception?
I think that the movie industry has so much room to grow. It's still behind technically. And when you look at the innovation that's happened in streaming and other areas, I just felt like, hey, what if all of that technology was here? And we proved that people would go more. They signed up for the service. They increased their behavior by 100%. So that adds a lot of jobs and a lot of people who can work in the movie industry, and that's what we wanted to bring to it.
What do you think, Mutali, is the most misunderstood aspect of all of this?
So much is misunderstood about the MoviePass story, including who the founders are, why it failed, so to speak, what's happening with it now, and really the intentions of the people behind it. So, but there's different aspects of the story that are not talked about so much. There are investors, you know, regular people who invested in MoviePass, who went on a ride themselves, and their subscribers who really don't understand exactly what was happening to their subscription service, especially during the years 2017, 2018. So this story aims to, and I think does, answer questions for all sorts of people who had an experience with MoviePass. And MoviePass had, at one point, over 3 million subscribers, so we're hoping to satisfy those viewers, as well as viewers who haven't really heard of MoviePass yet.
And you have since reacquired the company and plan to relaunch the service.
We relaunched.
You've already relaunched, so give us a sense of, people can start going now?
Yeah, it's live, and we ended 2023 profitable, the first time in the history of the company. But you can go anywhere you want, whether you're in Texas or Alaska, anywhere you can sign up for it, and you can go to 90% of all theaters in North America.
What'll be different about it this time?
We put some technologies in that make sure that there's profitability there, and we have different price plans rather than one cheap price that is not sustainable. So that's a really big difference.
Muta, Stacey, we thank you both so much for joining us. All the best to you both. Want to let our viewers know you can catch the HBO documentary film MoviePass Movie Crash. It debuts Wednesday, May 29th on HBO and will be available to stream on Max. We should add the 2 former leaders, Theodore Farnsworth and Mitchell Lowe, were indicted on criminal fraud charges by the Department of Justice. Farnsworth is being held at federal detention center in Miami. Both have pled not guilty. A trial is scheduled for next year. And still to come, how one organization is making way for blind people to take advantage of one of New York's best cycling experiences.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
Let's go.
The ship is incredible. It feels like living in a science fiction movie.
We just saw what no one has seen before.
Wow, look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Way out dead ahead!
We are heading into the unknown.
Hammer, hammer, hammer. It doesn't get any more cutting edge than this.
I experienced a lot of heartache. I'm a tough woman, but it's not easy. You're gonna feel lonely. It's taken me a really long time to even get to this moment.
And the CMA Award for
Entertainer of the Year
goes to
Lainey Wilson.
That was a mic drop.
The Entertainer of the Year, baby.
I do see the bell bottoms and the hat as my superhero outfit.
Wild horses.
What does it take to be the most watched newscast in America?
We are part of an operation.
Is this our Combat Operations Center?
We're approaching the gate. Militants came in from different directions. Nuclear reactor. So you have a couple loaded and ready to go. The house is destroyed, but the flag.
Not a carry, innit?
How important it made the USA. Great work.
Hi. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Ismael? David.
I'm David Muir.
I know you are.
You
Watch
do?
you every night.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Finally tonight, for urban exercise, many enjoy the excitement of cycling through New York's Central Park. And one volunteer nonprofit organization here is making sure blind cyclists don't miss out on the thrill. Morgan Norwood has this story.
In New York City's Central Park, avid cyclists are lining up for their turn to bike the paths of the historic Green Heart of Manhattan. These cyclists are part of In Tandem, a nonprofit organization which provides tandem cycling programs to people who are blind, have low vision, or cannot ride independently due to other disabilities.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
In Tandem was founded in 2013 by the late Artie Elephant as a way to continue his active lifestyle after losing most of his vision by the age of 47. In 10 years, more than 1,000 cyclists have pedaled more than 200,000 miles.
I love the wind in the hair.
Maria DeMeglio never dreamed she would be able to ride a bike. Through In Tandem, she experienced the joy of riding a bicycle for the first time at the age of 44.
I'm doing the same thing that they're doing, except I'm on a two-seater.
Then there's Declan Ryan. His vision impairment hasn't held him back from running marathons and cycling.
Being able to ride a bike, it's very liberating for someone like myself. A lot of freedom that's come my way that I didn't think was possible.
Brandy Pender started losing her vision when she was 8 years old, forcing her to give up on one of her favorite activities. That's until she found In Tandem.
The last time I was on a bike, I was in charge of it and could see, so it was a little hard to trust, but the feeling of riding was so good that kind of just got tucked away.
And none of this would be possible without a network of volunteers like Matthew Levy.
I hadn't really thought about the challenges for visually impaired people and others with disabilities. Being out and enjoying the park and doing something that we all take for granted. You know, it's nice to be able to make that accessible for other people.
Volunteers are trained as captains, steering the bike in the front with a blind or low vision rider in the back who shares the work pedaling.
We can't do what we do without our amazing captains. They're dedicated. They're out here for sometimes 2 hours, pedaling anywhere from 12 to 40 to 50 miles.
For some, those miles have been life-changing.
I mean, I lived a very good life, but I wasn't into physical sports. So this is a part of my life that opened up and then just made me live a much more fulfilling life.
Grateful to those dedicated volunteers. Our thanks to Morgan Norwood for that. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and of course, abcnews.com. The news never stops. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
We're still in a flash flood warning. To catch you up with what happened overnight. Police in riot gear.